Are you shopping health insurance right now and trying to identify what the best option is based on your needs? In today's video, we're going to explain to you exactly what the marketplace is, what your options are, and how to unlock potential savings related to your health insurance needs for you and your family. Hello, my name is Edwin Rodriguez, your licensed health insurance representative. And on this channel, we discuss all things health insurance with a focus on Medicare and today, ACA plans. Since 2007, I've had the pleasure of helping individuals and clients shop, compare, and enroll on plans based on their needs and goals. I often tell my clients I'm the best free help you'll never pay for. Now let's get into it. So the biggest misconception a lot of my clients have going into the marketplace or shopping individual policies is knowing really what the marketplace is. Most of my clients think the marketplace is a government entity or a government subscribed insurance policy. That's not at all what it is. The marketplace essentially is broken down into two main parts. The first part is standardization. Ever since 2014, one of the things that was implemented, part of the Affordable Care Act, or ACA, is standardization. So all health insurance companies are required to be on the same playing field, meaning they're all covering you the same way. The term that we want to focus on is the essential health benefits. It's a list of 10 benefits that every insurance company is required to cover for folks on an ACA compliant policy. Some examples of these essential health benefits would be preventive services, so your labs, MAMs, PAPs, physicals, your wellness shots for the children under 19, things like that are required to be covered on an annual basis. Pre-existing conditions, so health questions are no longer asked on ACA compliant policies. If you're dealing with a policy that has underwriting associated with it, let the buyer be aware that might not be an ACA compliant policy. Standardizing coverage in the sense of as far as what also needs to be covered. Inpatient procedures, outpatient procedures, your labs, emergency room services, prescription medications, and there's a whole list of essential health benefits on the screen so you can get a good understanding as far as what the standardization of coverage means to you. Again, the purpose of standardizing your coverage is to make sure you can shop plans easily. So you're not having to worry about comparing companies based on what they're covering. Essentially, the difference from one insurance company to the next is going to be, are my doctors covered on the plan, and Edwin, what are my out-of-pockets? That's essentially going to be the difference from one policy to the next. The second part of the Affordable Care Act is subsidies. So some individuals and families may qualify for discounts based on their income versus their household size. For example, I live here in Florida. If an individual has income around $15,000 per year, now this is assuming you're a single person and you have no tax dependents, this is all related to tax household. If you're a single person and your income is between $15,000 and about $60,000, you're going to qualify for some discounts to help make your insurance premium more affordable. Those are rough numbers and they do change based on state. We'll go ahead and include on the screen here for Florida what those ranges are from household size 1 all the way to household size 8. Again, if you're between 100 to 400% of federal poverty level, the numbers you see on your screen, those are going to be able to allow you to qualify for discounts for your health insurance. Now, the number that they're referencing when they're looking at this number is tied to your adjusted gross income. If you're a standard tax filer, you're looking at line 11B as in Bravo, and that's going to be touted your adjusted gross income in big bold prints. That's the number we're looking for when we're having this conversation. For individuals who are between those margins, you're going to qualify for subsidies to help make your insurance premium more affordable. For certain individuals, if your income is between 100 to 250% of federal poverty level, that's going to unlock additional savings. Not only are you going to receive discounts on your insurance premium, but you're also going to receive discounts on your deductibles, your co-payments, and possibly your maximum out-of-pockets. These details can vary based on plans, benefits, and states as well, but traditionally speaking, individuals who are between 100 to 250% of federal poverty level will get additional savings on their health insurance. There are some important dates you want to remember when it comes to the marketplace or for any insurance for that matter. Like most insurances, there are enrollment dates, just like your previous job insurance, just like in the Medicare side of things, there are enrollment dates when you can make changes. So someone who has certain life situations, maybe you're watching this video and you're saying, hey, this applies to me because you are dealing with maybe a loss of coverage, possibly a divorce where you're losing coverage from a prior spouse. Maybe you're turning 26 and you're getting kicked off of your parents' policy or anything along those lines where you have a special life circumstance that allows you to enroll into the plan. you're going to have a 60-day special enrollment period to be able to go and pick a new plan based on, again, your needs and goals. Feel free to reach out to my team and I for guidance regarding your health insurance needs and goals. For folks who are on the marketplace or maybe missed their deadlines, you have an enrollment period every year where you can actually enroll into policies without any special circumstances. Those dates are between November 1st to December 15th for coverage starting on January 1st. Now, if you missed that deadline, there's a second enrollment period, which is between December 15th to January 15th, and coverage will begin in February 1st after that. Now, keep in mind, those are the dates you want to remember. There are certain circumstances where you might be able to make other changes outside of those enrollment periods, but again, that's generally going to be limited to special enrollment periods, aka life-changing events. Some clients may not need all of the guarantees and protections that the Affordable Care Act awards them. And in other cases, some clients may not qualify for subsidies through the marketplace. If you recall those income margins that we showed on the screen previously, if your income is outside of those margins, you can still buy health insurance. You just don't get any discounts for your coverage. That's where we would introduce the idea of an alternative option. This isn't the right fit for a lot of my clients. I'd say 90% of my clients do qualify to go to the marketplace, or it makes the most sense for them to go through the marketplace, whether it's because they qualify for subsidies or they have pre-existing conditions that they want to make sure are covered. But if you're looking to buy other alternative options, maybe because the marketplace isn't a good fit for you because of either pricing or you don't need all of those protections awarded to you, then we have what we call alternative plans. Alternative plans are designed to look, smell, and feel like health insurance, and a lot of times they're going to work very similar to health insurance, but with the caveat of the underwriting aspect on the front end. If your insurance policy is requiring underwriting on the front end, being able to get onto the policy by answering health questions first, then that's most likely going to be a red flag for you, letting you know that's not an ACA compliant policy. And that plan can then pick and choose what parts of your body that they're going to cover, if they're going to cover that body part, and if they do cover it, how much of that body part that they'll cover. So let the buyer be aware, if you do have pre-existing conditions, alternative plans might not be the best option for you. But for folks who don't qualify for subsidies through the marketplace and they don't need all of the guarantees and protections that are awarded to them from the Affordable Care Act, then it might make sense to go an alternative route. You have different types of options. You're going to have short-term medical plans. United Healthcare is a very popular option with some of these clients. It's a short-term medical policy that lasts up to 3 years. It's not a contract for you to enroll in for 3 years. It's just a promise from the insurance company that they're going to cover you for up to 3 years. You'll have to reapply afterwards. You also have health share ministry plans. Those plans were originally designed for people who were trying to elude the whole requirement from the government. If you recall, when the Affordable Care Act was first implemented, you had a requirement to buy health insurance. Some people had a religious exemption that they didn't agree with everything that the Affordable Care Act was essentially shoving down their throats. There's companies like MediShare is one of the more popular ones. Alera was one back in the day as well that was designed for essentially Christians who are wanting to find an alternative route for their health insurance. With those plans, there's some basic underwriting associated with it, and they're really written to work like health insurance, but they don't claim to be health insurance. So another popular plan that I see a lot lately, and this isn't something I really work with because I don't really like the back end exposure these plans leave my clients with, but these are fixed indemnity plans. You probably heard of a company like Aflac. A lot of other companies do similar products. I think there's a popular one going around right now that is called First Health or First Choice Health or something like that, which it's a policy they claim to be an Aetna PPO plan is the way they advertise it. But the way that policy works, or any indemnity plans for that matter, is it's only going to be first dollar coverage, meaning it's only going to help you out on the front end. Let's say, for example, you have a hospitalization and you're in the hospital 10 days, your bill's $1 million. What is that policy going to pay for you? These alternative plans really aren't designed for the catastrophic situations. It's more for the front end item. With this indemnity style plan specifically, they're going to help you pay for a little bit of those bills, but there's no back end protection. Example, they may give you maybe $250 a day while you're in the hospital for only 10 days. So if you have $1 million hospital bill in this example, they're only going to send you a check for $2,500. That's not even a drop in the bucket for most folks if they're in the ICU, have major medical condition going on. Even worse, what happens after the fact? What happens if they need to go on for additional care, follow-up care, therapy, routine visits after the fact? So again, fixed indemnity plans, although they look great on paper with cost, they're not really the most advantageous option for most folks when it comes to health insurance. Another option we've heard about as well is direct primary care provider benefits, which with these policies, They're going to be like a concierge type service. You pay an annual fee to your primary care doctor's office, and they will see you at no cost or maybe at a limited cost. It's a way to give you coverage just for your primary care doctor visits. But again, there's no back end protection on those kinds of plans. So what if you have to have surgery at an outpatient surgery center? Maybe you're hospitalized. Maybe you need pharmacy benefits. These alternative plans really don't do much on those, especially on the pharmacy side of things. Most insurances really, when it comes to health insurance, these individual policies really don't do much for you when it comes to prescription medications. That's a generalized statement. It can vary depending on the plan. Now, one thing I wanted to cover in this video as well is the group insurance policy aspect of this conversation. Sometimes clients reach out to me and they say, hey, my friend recommended you along, you helped them save money on their health insurance. And one of the first questions I ask in the beginning is, what is it that you have now? And if a client mentions to me that they have group insurance currently, more often than not, it's going to make sense to stay that route. If you have job insurance available to you, then generally that's the route you're going to want to go. Unless the cost of coverage is greater than 9.1% of your income. Let's keep the number simple. Let's call it 10%. So if you have job insurance available to you, okay, and the cost of that coverage is less than 10% of your monthly income, then that's considered affordable, and that's the route you're going to want to stay. As an example, let's say you earn $4,000 a month at your job and your insurance premium is less than $400 per month. That's 10%. That's considered affordable. That's the route you're going to want to stay. That's generally going to be the most wholesome coverage and the best price for you, the consumer. Let's say your insurance premium at your job, the same example, $4,000 a month is your income, but let's say the price of that insurance policy is $450, $500, $600, $1,000, doesn't matter. If it's greater than that 10% number, then you can look at the marketplace route, buy your own health insurance policy, and if you qualify, receive subsidies. To expand a little further with the group insurance option, if you do have a group insurance option available to you, again, that's the route you're going to want to go, but we can talk one-on-one to see if it makes sense to go alternative routes or different routes other than your group insurance policy. Another question I get is related to COBRA. While we're on the group insurance topic, if you're retiring from a job, you may have COBRA insurance available to you. Now, COBRA insurance is probably one of the more expensive options that are out there, but it might be worth comparing because maybe the price might be similar to what we would offer you here, but the benefits might be better on your plan, or vice versa, right? It might be a better price and coverage on our side versus the pricing and benefits you receive from your employer, COBRA coverage. Again, if that's the case, we just want to compare your current plan to the options that we would consider going the marketplace route. And part of that process as well is also considering your doctors and your medications. Because not only do we want to save you premiums on your insurance plan, but we also want to make sure that we are covering any doctors that are important to you, as well as any medications. And not only covered, but covered well. Because if a medication is $300 more with a policy that we would offer you, or even from your job insurance compared to us, vice versa, we're going to want to compare that to see what makes the most sense based, again, on your needs and budget. So now you know what the marketplace really is and what it means to you. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give it a like. It helps other clients find this type of honest guidance. Additionally, if you need some help regarding shopping your insurance policies, feel free to schedule a call using the link in the description section below. We'll be honored to help walk you through your options. Now, if you got value from this video, consider watching this video next for more information related to your health insurance needs and goals. Until then, take care, and thank you so much for watching.